Happy Wednesday. I hope you're well. I am working at home today, so I'm reading a story to you from my son's bookshelf. A beloved story, Curious George, Museum Mystery. You love Curious George? I do. It was a big day at the museum. A new dinosaur skeleton was going to be displayed. George was always a curious little monkey, and he was especially curious about dinosaurs. At 5 o'clock, the museum will be filled with dinosaur experts waiting to see the new skeleton on stage, Professor Wiseman told George and the man in the yellow hat. But I'm one bone short. Isn't that one of the bones we brought to you last week? The man asked. It should have been, the professor said, but there were only 3 bones in this box. There were supposed to be 4. You sure you put all the bones in that box? George remembered that their friend Mr. Quint had been visiting and taking pictures. They could look at those photos to solve the mystery of the missing bone. He and his friend went home to look for the pictures. George found Mr. Quint's photos of his visit to the city. There were 2 pictures of the man with the box. Look, George, the box was too full to close at home, but it was closed tightly when we reached the museum. That means there was less inside when we dropped it off. We must have lost a bone somewhere along the way. To find it, we should retrace our steps, the man told George. But George couldn't remember their exact path to the museum. Luckily, they had more pictures. George put them in a photo holder. If we put the pictures in order, we can retrace our path and find that bone, the man exclaimed. Look at that. They have all these pictures put in order. George thought the first place they'd gone was Chef Biscetti's restaurant for soup. They went to Biscetti's and showed him the picture Mr. Quint had taken. Do you see here Chef Biscetti with his cat on his head? Looking at the photo closely, Biscetti noticed a clue. There's the box right next to your bag from the market. George hadn't noticed the bag. The market bag means we must have gone to the market before we came here, the man said. He changed the order of the photos in George's holder, so the pictures from the market came before the picture from Biscetti's. They set off to the market to check for clues. Do you remember we almost lost all of the bones here when you tripped, the man reminded George. But George, being a quick little monkey, had caught all 4 of them in the box. Still 4 bones, the man with the yellow hat said. Now he and George looked closely at the other pictures. The man noticed that George had a noodle on his cheek in the next picture at the lake. George, this means we went and had soup before we went to the park, he said. They thought they remembered their path now. They left home, went to the market, then went to Biscetti's for soup, stopped at the park, and then delivered the box to the museum. The box was still bulging in the picture from the park, so the lost bone had to be somewhere between the park and the museum. The pictures had to be in the right order, didn't they? But George noticed something else. George's friend had fallen into the lake at the park, but his clothes were dry in the picture at the museum. That's right, his friend exclaimed. We went home again for dry clothes. The lobby wasn't just the first step on their path, it was also the next to last step. They hurried home to ask the doorman if he remembered anything about that day. Sure, I remember. You left your box in the lobby while you changed. Then your friend took this picture as you left in dry clothes, he told them. George noticed something else in the picture. What was that white blur under the chair with the doorman's dog? George went to find Hunley. When he found Hunley, he found the bone. They had the missing bone, but it was almost 5 o'clock. George and his friends ran back to the museum and put the bone in its place just in time. "Let's go," the man whispered. But his pants were caught in the ankylosaur's mouth. Oh, the curtains opened, and the audience got an even bigger surprise than they expected. George had solved the mystery and saved Dr. Wiseman's big reveal at the museum. Plus, now they had a new photo to add to his collection. Now, this is a fun activity for you guys to do at home with your parents or your grandparents. The question is, which comes first? George's friends helped him find clues in each of Mr. Quint's pictures, and these clues helped George and the man with the yellow hat figure out what happened first, next, and last throughout their day. Looking at the pictures below of George planting a seed, can you put them in the correct order? So there they are. 4 pictures. I bet that'll be easy for you guys. Bet you'll figure that out right away. Until we meet next time, I hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you feel well. Hope you get outside and enjoy some of these sunny, warmer days. Hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, friends.